the playoffs. Am I crazy?
Oh, I can tell you how. Anti-Floridian sentiment.
There
That's
is a
how.
lot of anti-Florida stuff out there. There's no doubt about it. But I believe that this is the biggest kind of snub that's ever happened to Florida. I mean, Florida had a very good sense of humor about themselves, about Florida Man. But
Yes.
they realized, okay, you're going through the state, picking out the very worst examples and acting like it's everybody.
Sure.
But that's
And-
fun.
And is the state mostly swamps and meth and tourist traps? Yes, but guess what else it is? 13-0.
13-0, long tradition. I mean, Bobby Bowden was the coach at this school at one time.
Yep.
Burt Reynolds went to this school at one time.
Yes.
And now you're going to tell me that the entire season doesn't matter. Why? There's a beauty contest instead of a competition.
Right.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know how these people can look at themselves in the mirror.
So there's just basically one pretty princess who couldn't not be in the playoffs, correct? Despite the
Right.
fact that Alabama did have a loss, correct? They were not undefeated.
Alabama had a loss, and Texas had a loss, both of them.
So how did they justify it? Somebody please explain to me.
Well, they
the
said that
sham
the-
that is the committee.
They said that the quarterback had been injured, so they felt like there's no sense in playing. But I remember a Super Bowl about 5 years ago where the quarterback was injured, and then God himself lifted up a young man from the state of Texas and turned him into a legend.
Yes.
He's now a statue
Yes.
along with a fired coach.
I mean, you're going to tell me Big Dick Nick did not exist?
I honestly find this to be not only one of the meanest things. Look, and they're going, well, you know, the SEC is better, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Then I just put ACC in fucking Division 2. You know what I mean? If it's so easy, stop acting like if they run the fucking gamut, they're a good school.
Right. This whole thing is a sham. And I feel like as though it's always been shady, but this was just such a blatantly shady move.
Unbelievable. And not only, but I will tell you this. This kind of made me mad that DeSantis didn't go at this bigger. I think DeSantis should have
Yep.
said, we're doing a lawsuit. We're coming at you. We're not going to let. First of all, you got Michigan who fucking cheated their way in.
Yes.
Literally cheated their way in.
I didn't even know that. So now I'm
Their
even more mad.
coach had to watch the last 3 games of the season from a rest area 2 miles away because he wasn't permitted to be around the students. So DeSantis
right.
didn't come out of it hard. He wrote something like, this is not, Guess who came out of it hard? Another Florida man. Past and future President Donald Trump.
Oh my God.
Good.
See? Now this makes DeSantis look like shit.
He's
These
weak.
are your people. These are your
Here's
people.
what he wrote, and I thought he made a really good thing. Florida State was treated very badly by the committee. They become the first Power 5 team to be left out of the college football playoffs. Well, that's not true. They're the first undefeated
Right.
Power 5 team.
Senseless there.
But, there's a lot of other teams that aren't going in because their records weren't good enough. Really bad lobbying effort. Let's blame DeSanctimonious.
Yes.
I actually agree. I feel like he also could have mentioned that it's a beautiful university. It's a state
Beautiful.
university in Florida. Most beautiful university you've ever seen.
You know who fucking lives there? Is DeSantis. It's Tallahassee. It's the state capital.
What a disgusting man to not stick up for his
Because
state.
this is such like an honorable battle to go at, and
It's a slam dunk.
yeah,
But I'm telling you right now, college football is corrupt,
Yes.
and the players are corrupt. The
Yes.
players, in my opinion, the players should not be allowed in the NFL.
What?
If you play college football, there's no NFL for you.
Are we
like
thinking
this.
only XFL from here on in, or the college football? I mean, the Canadian Football League, the CBL.
Here's another thing that's so fucking bad. Deion Sanders, Florida State University. They broke up. He and his fiance broke up after 12 years together because she said she thought that Alabama was a better school overall.
Oh God.
That's
Yeah.
the reason.
And then
That's
she
really
also remarked, I noticed that Colorado wasn't going there after a good 2 weeks at the beginning of the year.
Oh man, that hype died down. Well, at least he got Sports Illustrated cover, fucking for no reason.
He's the Sportsman of the Year. That's what his award was, the Sportsman of the Year. And what they should have called him was the Hype Master.
Thank
you know what I mean? He was the Hype Master. Him and obviously the Kelsey brothers have done a great job
Sure.
of
Yeah.
getting, of expanding their platform, as they say. But I was fighting with Hard Rock Johnny about this because Johnny toes the company line.
Really?
Right. True.
And
true.
he's also very anti Florida because of that Hard Rock casino that looks like a guitar.
Oh yeah.
Johnny wanted to look like a drum set.
It all ties together now,
It
doesn't
makes
it?
sense. Now, okay, so the answer to everything is money, and I get that. That's
Money.
the simple answer.
Yeah.
But can anyone explain to me how and why the committee justifies not including FSU?
Because they won Alabama. Okay?
They don't have to justify. They're just like, this is what we.
Yeah, they're like, well, the SEC is better, but not this year. It hasn't been great this year. It's the worst year it's had in a while. But then why then act like there shouldn't be any other fucking teams than SEC?
They
SEC.
think the committee thinks they're the fucking Illuminati of college football athletes.
Oh, you're just
and they
making up a weird thing out of nowhere. Why can't we have the actual conversation would be good enough without bringing the Illuminati into this?
They
Let's
feel
just
like they're
see.
all-
I have a friend that writes for Rolling Stone Sports. They call him Raul Duke, but we call him Earl Douglas. Earl, where's your feeling on this?
This is 100% bullshit because I don't know why they have this love affair with Alabama. And Alabama,
Well, maybe it's the 7 championships that
but
they've had in, the last 10, 12 years.
but this was not the great monster Alabama team. You know what I mean? Like this wasn't.
Well,
that
they
big
beat
juggernaut.
Georgia. They beat the number 1 team. They lost early in the year to Texas, so they couldn't knock Texas out because Alabama lost head-to-head to Texas, and people in Texas would be fucking arguing right now.
Right.
The only time not to argue, okay, would be if fucking... Let me tell you something. If Georgia wins that game, Georgia goes in, and so does Florida State. They're not going to put fucking... The only reason why Texas went in is because they beat Alabama.
Yeah.
Right.
But this madness and this crazy love affair with that school and that program, it's just, how do you bump a team that didn't lose a game? You ran the tables the whole
Because
season.
they feel like the league is a shit league. They call it the Grapefruit League, all right? They call it the fucking math and wife swapping division. And I feel like that's bad because a lot of people have moved on from meth to either Coke or Black Dust. Hard Rock Johnny is calling, I guess, officially because he's part of the establishment. Daddy.
Oh, Jenny.
Yeah.
Jenny, what are you gonna say, Jenny?
Yeah.
Oh, Jenny.
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 You asked me hello there, Benningtons.
Hey, all right, relax, okay?
So I'm not part of the establishment, but you asked me Saturday who I thought it would be, and I nailed. Aside from, I gave you the 4 teams that I
Well,
thought
first
it
of
would
all,
be.
that's not nailing because he had Alabama 3rd and 4th. And also, Johnny, you took quite a few fucking hits at Chris. And what did you do over the weekend, Chris?
Chris had a good
6-2.
weekend.
3-1 on props, 3-1
Really?
on spread picks.
Go back and read the Instagram what your prediction was then. And quite frankly,
Well,
after a
because-
year where you said you were going to stop picking on Chris.
Well, but I tried the reverse psychology because I've been so positive and it's been rough lately. So I went with the reverse, and now it was a good weekend. So now I can go back to being positive. That was my take on that.
I
want
tell
to
you,
just
I feel like I'm talking to right now is George Santos. you, Johnny, you cannot be shamed.
Thank you.
So
Johnny, did you go to the Last Kiss concert?
I did not. I could care less. It wasn't a real concert. There wasn't the real members. I saw the real farewell tour with all 4 members, and that's all that I care about.
What year was that? 87?
It was in the 90s, I think. They came back together for a little while.
I didn't know.
Listen, I had just as many original members of KISS play at Eddie Trunk's 30th anniversary party at the Hard Rock in front of 500 people as they had play at 3 shows at Madison Square Garden. So what's the difference?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it doesn't matter who the members are as long as there's members.
No, there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
So
That's the number.
I honestly, I don't think Florida State got hosed that bad.
That bad?
And
Are you kidding
no,
me?
Why?
They did everything they were supposed to do, and they did it perfectly.
and how
And
are
they
you gonna
did it
do
without
that?
cheating.
So Earl, you said that it wasn't a monster Alabama team. They had the 3rd toughest strength of schedule in the entire
All right,
college
first of all,
football.
let's even play with that. I think that the term strength of schedule is one of the most bullshit things because it's still like predicting rather than actually doing. Okay, and every week you take a guy like fucking Chris and he goes, "Here's my predictions."
Yes.
It doesn't mean anything. The games happen, and then that's the important thing. This thing that somehow you would play this team better than that team. And let me tell you something about Michigan that's supposed to be so good. Watch the video of them when they find out they're playing Alabama. None of them react. They look sick. And I'm like, I thought it was you against the world.
Yeah,
Alabama's part of the fucking world. So part of me thinks they might be doing this just to fucking knock out Michigan because they don't want the cheaters to win.
Well, I can tell you what was a really big part of the decision. Does anyone remember the score of last year's college football final game?
I don't remember anything after it happens.
No,
It's not a big fucking important thing.
Because it was 65-7, and TCU, just because they were undefeated, went into the bowl. They
All right,
didn't
so you're
belong
going to penalize other fucking teams because of that. That's the kind of bullshit that takes place in a fascist state. Okay, in a fascist state, they decide who the winner is first.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I even had the
I mean,
tournament.
listen, I firmly believe that they followed the rules that were laid out in the bylaws that every college agreed to.
The
And one of them
bylaws
was-
that they fucking made. You got nowhere else to go
all-
if you
all
don't follow their
schools
bylaws.
agreed to it. One of
What
the
are they
things in the
going to
bylaws-
do in a fascist state? What did Putin win by? You would swear that he was the fucking most popular politician who's ever lived. This is anti-Florida. Gail was born there.
Yes.
Okay. And she carries that now
Yes, I do.
everywhere in her life. That when she says where she was born, people laugh at her.
They
Yankees,
mock.
I call them.
Yeah. They mock me. They call me Hanging Chad.
You're fucking kidding me.
No.
Yep.
Pretty cool name.
I'm sorry.
It is a terrible name, Johnny.
Yeah. You
It's a
think that's
terrible name.
something that you want to deal with in high school, being called Hanging Chad?
No,
Like a little piece of
dimple
paper
one.
that an idiot couldn't push all the way through?
it's harder than they say. You know, I was in a hurry that day.
Yeah.
I
and
just
also,
pushed and left.
there's some weak elderly who can't
I'm
you
gonna-
know,
Florida
stamp that
man
as
can't
hard.
push through paper.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not even sure if I ever even voted once when I lived in Florida because I didn't feel like I lived in America. You know what I mean? I had other things on my mind. It's hard to vote when you're sitting at a beach bar drinking out of a fucking coconut.
You're like, was that yesterday? Oh shit, who won?
After our show, we'd go like this at each other. Coconut drink? Coconut drink? Should we? Yeah, let's have the meeting down at the beach bar. We'll drink coconuts.
Like a whole state where boat drinks are just acceptable any day of the week at any time.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, it's acceptable to wear a jacket with shorts.
That's
You know
cool.
what I mean?
Yep, you can.
And no shirt. Just put on a fucking sports
Yep.
jacket. Off you go. And it's also seems weird if anyone wears socks with hard shoes.
Yeah.
Johnny, this is bullshit. It is. It won't end here, and I do
Right.
kind of blame Ron DeSanctimonious, but not 100%. I believe the anti-Florida faction, which exists out there, and Johnny, of all things, you work at Margaritaville. At least 1/3 of your fucking customers went to Florida State.
Easily.
I don't know
The
about
other
that
2/3
many, but a
went
few
to
did.
Florida, University of Florida, and Miami.
Yes.
Here's what I'd like to
So they're
do.
just pointing and laughing at this point. They want
Take-
to the other Florida.
Take the college fucking in Florida. I just make a straight Florida league. You could have the top three. You had Central, and you had USF, and you throw in some of those great black schools. I don't even know the names of them, but they have unbelievable bands.
Yes. The best.
Yeah. And then maybe you throw in St. Pete JC.
Why not? I'd like
Or-
to see them there.
Eckerd College. That's very close to the beach. All right, Johnny. I hate to see you with the man again, but that is you. That is our
Sucking the
Johnny.
corporate teat.
What do we got here? We got some Florida people who have felt bad about themselves, and I feel bad for them right now.
Same.
Here's Tracy. Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
Hi. Thanks
Hey.
for taking my call. It's absolute
Okay.
bullshit. I
It
live
is.
in Tallahassee. We got fucking robbed.
There's no doubt about it. There is zero.
We got robbed. You can't tell. You got it. You're going to tell a team that went undefeated. We beat Louisville with a powerhouse defense. Our defense did everything.
It was
they were supposed to do.
unbelievable.
They had to be perfect. They were
Yeah.
perfect. We beat Louisville more by our score than what Alabama did through Georgia. We doubled them. We beat them by. They beat them by 3. We beat them by 6. We did
That
everything
Florida
we were
State
supposed to do on
defense
a
is
third-string
unbelievable.
quarterback.
Right. Guess who else has the third string quarterback? The New York Giants. And guess what? A star is born. Tommy Cutlets. Gail's Aunt Michelle. She's very, very Italian.
Yes.
And she got a Tommy Cutlets tattoo on her calf. Yeah. And then
That's
on her
love.
other calf, she already had for years. Forget about it.
Yeah.
That's good.
So now they
Yeah.
really complement each other.
I feel bad for Tommy Cutlets right now.
I know.
His dad, Tommy Cutlet's dad, comes out yesterday, and he said he can put a boiler in faster than anyone in the state of New Jersey.
Faster, huh?
Yeah, he's known. He goes. They say 12 hours. We get one in 3.5, 4 hours.
Holy
And
shit.
they go, how do you get? How are you so much faster? He goes like this. Let's just say we don't hook everything up.
I think you need to.
Don't say
Then he
that out
also,
loud.
yeah. Then he also said to his son, "Stop it with this cutlets talk. Just say we're gonna boil the Eagles the next time that we play them, and we'll do it faster and a little sloppier than anybody else." That whole family is great. Thomas in Connecticut. Thomas,
Hello, Thomas.
Thomas dropped.
of course he did. You know why? He wanted to fucking back up Bama.
Can't do it.
Chris in Florida.
Yes, hey, I got some DeSantis information and Tallahassee information.
Good. I need the spy report. Spy report.
DeSantis lives like half a mile, the governor's mansion, from Florida State campus. He can see it from his house.
He should
And he
be
doesn't-
suing the shit out of them. He sues
He doesn't
Disney. He
care.
sues everybody.
And one of the biggest ghettos in Tallahassee is right outside the governor's mansion. It's disgusting. But anyway,
I know.
and
A friend of mine
Jim
was going
Morrison
to,
went there.
yeah. A
Jim
friend of
Morrison
mine's,
went there FSU.
yeah. Jim Morrison did go to Florida, but he also
true.
went to St. Pete, JC.
He did go
and then
to
he
JC.
ended,
Did
yeah.
he?
And then, yeah. And then he ended up at UCLA.
I never
And
knew.
then now they're saying that Jim Morrison and the Doors, there's a book out that said that they were CIA backed the whole time because of his dad being an admiral in the Navy. I'm like, he didn't even see his dad the entire time he was in the Doors. The Doors never met his dad or his mom.
Right.
Stronger than dirt. Yeah, a friend of mine in Tallahassee, their kid was going to believe to law school and was robbed in their driveway.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So this would have, I mean, DeSantis could be the hero of fucking Florida right now.
I know. But what does he think, that it's just like it's not a national concern, so he's not going to do it?
Nobody knows. Maybe he doesn't, you know what I mean? He was a baseball guy. You know, he played Little League Baseball. It's like the guys that play football were mean to me, I guess. You know, he went to Dunedin, and down there the big joke is, right? After lunch, somebody go like this, "You done eating?" And that's me because it sounds like done eating. Mike in New York. Mike.
Hey,
Yeah.
strength of schedule has to be considered when you're looking at these teams, although I like your thought about the committee wanted to kick Harbaugh's teeth in.
Yeah, they do. There's no doubt about it. But I got another thing for you. I mean, you and I could say something, but guess what? Drew Brees said this should immediately be a playoff game between Alabama and Florida State. He goes, see how many cities want to do it because a ton of money will come in, ton of fucking TV revenue, and both teams would have agreed to it in a heartbeat. Right? And then we don't see people sitting around talking about strength of schedule. Earl, why aren't you looking up the strength of schedule of both teams? What are you doing? This is the kind of research you need to do if you want to make it in Rolling Stone magazine.
And you do. You do want to make it there.
I don't know if he does or not. Right now, all he's interested in is collecting expensive paintings. And I don't even understand that.
Is that a hobby?
I saw Juju paint something that I would put up against anybody.
Yeah, I mean, cat store?
Cat store.
Love Cat Store.
Yeah.
Cat store was a big hit.
I have the strength of schedule because maybe I should be a Rolling Stone writer. Alabama had the number 5 strength of schedule this year, according to ESPN's metrics, while Florida State's came in at number 55. That's ESPN.
That's not that far apart. It's 50
Thank you.
apart.
That's it. How many colleges are there? How many college teams are there? I mean, it's fucking infinite almost.
Not really. But here's the thing, right? Chris, what if I asked you to go to the store for me and you said how far away? And I said 50 yards. I mean, that'd be nothing for you, right?
I could fucking walk that no time, Ron.
In an hour. You can walk 50 yards in an hour.
With these knees and hips.
Earl, what happened with the slow-mo? I don't need that, man. I need you to be fast-mo from this point on.
A little bit.
Did he just yell "nope" it? And act
I
like
I heard it.
oops, I
I
stepped
heard
on
it.
him.
I
He
heard
acted like he was going to talk.
Slip it. Slip
Yeah.
it.
Slip it. Look, let me just say this right now. This is a difficult time for everybody, all right? The Eagles had the worst game in the last 10 years. But guess what? That happens, right? Then you move on.
It's football.
Buffalo crushed Miami. Miami looked fucking great yesterday. 49ers got their ass beat a couple of times. They actually lost, 3 in a row? And now they look great again. Who knows when they're going to go on the next fucking losing streak? Who knows who's going to go in the next winning streak? Dallas, every game they lost was fucking embarrassing this year. So you don't hold on to it. It's a league that nobody knows who's going to win this fucking Super Bowl. And quite frankly, the strength of schedule there is zero. Nobody is playing anybody any good because everybody stinks.
100%. It's so fucking ridiculous, the entire league, the majority of the league.
But I was proud to see the Eagles fans booing pretty early on because then they care, right? You don't want to be like Earl Douglas, claim to be a New York Yankees fan, and not worry that the fucking team has only won one fucking championship in this century. You still hold on to the past. Now, you're like that, Earl. You take it and say, more, please. Can I have some more? But you know who doesn't take it? East Side Dave, okay? East Side Dave is coming out hard against the Yankees management, in particular Brian Cashman, and has nicknamed him Ferret Face, which I don't think his facial features should play into this, but so be it. Do we have this song ready to go?
Yes, we do.
All right. This is from East Side Dave Sports Show.
Davey Mac Sports Program.
Fire that ferret! Cashman's time is up! Fire that ferret! We don't give a fuck! Fire that ferret! He's a real has-been until Cashman's out! The Yanks will win! The Yankees suck like shit, and they got no plan! Hey, Hallstein-Brenner, fire Brian Cashman! Bob Ross would be a better GM with his afro and his easel. Cashman's on his shit, he drinks like goddamn little weasel! Fire that ferret! Cashman's time is up! Fire that ferret! And we don't give a fuck! Fire that ferret! He's a real has-been until Cashman's out! The Yanks will win! With your shady beady eyes, tiny jawline, and no class! We should stick your ferret face straight up Richard Gere's ass! To all the doctors and the nurses in the medical biz! Is Cashman's belly really full of Steinbrenner jizz? Gonna light myself on fire with my own gas can. Unless you, Hal Steinbrenner, fire Brian Cashman! Fire that ferret! Cashman's time is up! Fire that ferret! We don't give a fuck! Fire that ferret! He's a real has-been until Cashman's out! The Yanks won't win! Gallo got too hard. Dalton may just spank it. Haven't seen a deal that bad since when you had to trade for a blanket. Oh yeah, make it sound nice, right? Tiny brain and shifty eyes, flub after flub. Looking like a marmot, dude, drown him in the tub. You're as pale as powder, got more color on my ass hand. Hey, Hallstein, better fire Brian Cashman. Let's go. Fire that ferret. Cashman's time is up. Fire that ferret. We don't give a fuck. Fire that ferret. He's a real has-been until Cashman's out. The Yanks won't win. Let's go. It's the Davey Mac Sports Program. Brian Cashman, you know what time it is.
Wow, that's fantastic. Davey Mac Sports Program. It's their first song since Fuck Tom Brady. They're like Pink Floyd. They take a long time off between songs.
Banger.
Let me just also say this. Earl, this is embarrassing. Chris, are you still the producer of the Davey Mac Sports Program?
I am no longer, but I do have ends over there at the Davey Mac.
You're like a
Sports.
consultant
Exactly.
position?
Exactly. Yes, I've been hired on.
Because
you know,
you were
I do this and
in
that.
Fuck Tom Brady, which was a big hit.
Yes, I
you
was.
should have asked to be in this. You know,
I'm
Now-
kind of hurt.
Yeah. Now, when you look at Earl, are you embarrassed that Earl hasn't done something like this for the Bennington show?
I'm embarrassed. I'm disgusted that he just puts no work into his fandom, into this show, into his life. It's disgusting.
You know what I love about this song is that it taught me a lot. Like, I didn't have a horse in the race before the song started, and by the end, I was chanting, "Fire that ferret."
Yes.
That's right.
Now, I think the only problem with this would have done better in the spring as opposed to coming out in early December when no one is thinking about
Right.
I know
I
he'd
see.
rather have him fired now, you know what I mean? before, all the horse trading that takes place. But, George Santos also said the hell with that place about Congress and took a walk out. And because of that, I was thinking about how many lies that he got caught into. But my favorite is when he said that he was an old-time Mets fan, which is just a hilarious statement. So he had put out very early on, before all this shit had hit the fan, he had put out this little X-Talk that he was a Mets fan. And he put on a Mets jersey to promote it, but he put that jersey on over a long sleeve jacket and white shirt. And it's just, Gail, believe me when I tell you this, no human being in history has
This is so weird.
ever put a baseball jersey over a suit coat. Now, let's play it so you can see what a big Mets fan he is.
Opening day, as a good old Mets fan, I know you guys aren't going to be playing until April 6th back home, but in good old fashion, let's go Mets!
Let's go Mets!
Let's go Mets! I love it.
And I'm a good old Mets fan and in good old fashion. Let's go Mets! First of all, it's not from the 1940s. They play every year. You know what I mean?
You think there was a second take, or did you just hit that?
No.
Nailed it.
No. First, but yeah, nailed it. Now, the other funny thing is, if you ever, go and look that up, go to the comments, because it's nothing but Mets fans asking him not to do this. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it's fucking Phillies fans busting balls. It's Mets fans saying, please, do not do this again. Stop it, okay? Stop what you're doing, please.
He had to. Represents Queens and Nassau, or did.
So part of that was Queens as well, though?
Yeah, it's like northwestern, northwestern Queens was him, and in all of Nassau County in Long Island.
All of Nassau County and Long Island. So there's a lot of people
Yeah.
that he represented. And the list of fucking crazy things that he said is so long and so funny.
This biopic can't come soon enough because I feel like if he drops out of the news for even a minute, I'm gonna miss him.
HBO announced right away that they're working on a biopic. I believe their pick to play him is Manny from Modern Family.
That's perfect. That's really good. I was kind of thinking of drag queen Darian Lake. Now, I'm going to show you a picture of her out of drag, and I feel like you're going to be convinced that she could pull it off. Because I feel like a drag queen's going to understand his sensibility, first of all. But there's Darian, and I'm...
Oh, that's pretty nailing.
Yeah, it's really good, right?
Yeah.
That's tight.
Now, I think it would be like a part that you would have a ball playing too. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Just the things that he says, the way he says them, it would be perfect. It would. I mean, this is an award-winning part. Now, all the other news stations, Fox, the other ones, have come out and said, we're not hiring him. We're not hiring him.
Come on.
I don't think the news is where he belongs anywhere. He hated the media. He called it fake news.
Yeah.
Fake news said that I didn't go to all the colleges that I didn't go to. But I think that he belongs on Bravo. I think a reality, crazy show with him, I wouldn't be able to turn it off ever.
God, yeah. I mean, I'm going to miss him walking around with a full face of makeup, which I just thought was incredible. is just that very powdered. And a lot of times he'd choose a glossy lip, which I thought was really fun. There was always like, his eyebrows were done. And I was like, the boldness of this dude.
Everything
walking
about it was
around
bold.
The Republican Party with a full face. I was just like, that's incredible.
When everybody turned on him, he said, when I first got here, I was the it girl of Congress. And you were like, you were the it girl because your boyfriend was missing. You know what I mean? And a lot of people thought that you killed them. What about this in the biopic? You think Roland could pull off this? I mean, he's got the facial features. I don't know. Overall, though, he mumbles a little bit.
Yeah,
be hard to
he'll have to take
understand.
some voice lessons, possibly. I think Michael C. Hall could fucking nail George Santos.
Michael C.
Michael C.
Hall
Hall,
is
really?
way too thin.
You
Yeah.
think? He is kind of thick. Santos, I mean.
Yeah, quite
Kind
thick.
of.
He's,
For the gay world, he's very, very
oh,
big.
he's gay fat for sure. By the way, is he out or it's just he's?
Yeah,
just
he's
doesn't-
out.
He's out.
Because I heard him say, my husband's discussed
Okay.
it,
Okay.
even though I don't think that he's married or is dating. And also, one of the things that he's been attacking all the other New York Republicans on his way out, who drinks, who has sex, and somebody wasn't out. And he thought it would be
Oh,
a
no.
positive. He goes, at least I'm out. Not like this person.
He's lighting every bridge on fire, and I fucking love it.
But here's the thing. There's no way that people are going to go after the people that he's talking about. Even if they were stealing money, they did it the right way, not his fucking way.
Yes.
Way
Exactly.
too broad.
They just had insider trading information. That's how they steal their money.
Oh, his husband's pretty cute.
Oh,
Little
yeah.
Twinkie.
Let me see. That might be just the prostitute that he paid. for
Could
the
be. I mean, who knows?
We don't know.
night. And why else would you say Michael C. Hall? Because what he did on Broadway?
Kind of, yeah. I feel like he can take on the character.
But now you feel like, okay, he should play every character like that. You know what I mean? Like, you can't put him in that box.
You're right,
Jason.
I'm typecasting.
Jason.
dropped.
Let me, coming up in just a little bit, Jimmy Schubert. Jimmy Schubert is going to be here. He's got a couple of movies in the can, including the new big one with Matt Rife.
It's called Don't Suck. Matt Rife, Jamie Kennedy, Russell Peters, Ellen Homa. It's available on demand now through Vudu, Amazon, and Apple Movies. But you can also catch it in theaters in L.A., Tampa, Boston, Austin, Dallas, Philly, and Atlanta.
He's also got something out in 2024 with Rosanna Arquette and Michael Madsen.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
That's the fucking people I want to hang with.
Yeah.
And we got a Netflix miss coming up. Make sure you watch this one. It's A California Christmas, City Lights. City Lights. And we'll be doing that on Thursday.
Yes. So if you want to check it out, you can go to Netflix, watch California Christmas City Lights, a.k.a. California Christmas 2.
And then also, this is the first time that we're finally going to play the Shane Gillis on Mass, which is incredibly funny. And I'm trying to think of how far I got to go back when somebody is to interview them as their career was just taking off like this.
Right. And this is like a skyrocket situation. This year's been nuts for him.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's not an easy place to be in. You know what I mean? You don't want to be in
see
the
that.
center of Beatlemania.
Right.
I know we did Amy Schumer right before the TV show started, but she didn't know at that point.
Right.
Like, she was like, next Tuesday my show starts. And, she was also the thing of, if it doesn't work, I still have stand-up.
Right.
Yeah, I'm playing clubs in Western Pennsylvania this weekend. And then, a month later, she was really big. But also, we had done the actor just as his weed movie was coming out. This was a long time ago. Yeah.
Seth Rogen at comics.
Seth Rogen, yeah. Seth Rogen was blowing up, and I asked him, and luckily he was like, I don't care. It's not a big deal to me.
It's okay.
I smoke a lot of weed. All right, why don't we break here? We'll come back and say hi to Jimmy Schubert, Bennington.
Faction Talk 103, it's the Bennington Show. Faction Talk 103, it's the Bennington Show.
It's the Bennington Show, and joining us in just a moment, Jimmy Schubert in the new film Don't Suck with Matt Rife, Jamie Kennedy, Russell Peters, Ellen Homa. It's available now on demand if you go through Vudu, Amazon, and Apple Movies, or you can catch it in theaters this week in LA, Tampa, Boston, Austin, Dallas, Philly, and Atlanta.
Jimmy, what's happening, buddy?
Oh, guys, how are you? Good afternoon.
Good.
Hey, Jimmy.
Hi, Gail. How are you?
Doing good. Good to hear from you.
So,
Good to hear from you guys.
Jimmy, this is your first of 3 movies coming up. I mean, you talk about being on demand,
Yeah, well, I think if you try to do something long enough, eventually, you get lucky once in a while. So yeah, I've had a good year. This is the first of 3 movies, but this is just a kind of a fun movie. It's a good movie. There's great performance in it. I mean, Matt Rife, who is like a supernova of comedy right now and just exploding.
Right.
He's the lead, and I think he does a great job. Him and Jamie Kennedy's chemistry in this is really fun, man. This is a fun movie. Russell Peters is in it. Which is amazing. It's got a great cast. I mean, Carrot Top makes an appearance. J.J. Walker. It's kind of like but it's a real independent movie. And these guys, literally, the producers, I mean, they nickel and dimed it and put it together and shot this great film. And so, it's just a fun movie. I've seen it. It made me laugh out loud a bunch of times. So, I think it'd be, who doesn't like to laugh, But it's a fun movie.
Now, here's the thing, Jimmy. This is a kid who's doing open mic comedy, and he's also a vampire.
Well, Ronnie, if you were a vampire, what a great place to hide. You work at night, you suck.
Sure.
I mean, if you're a vampire, what a great modus operandi. Yeah, I'm here doing jokes. But just because he's a vampire doesn't mean he's a good comedian. So that's when he hooks up with this. That's when he hooks up with Jamie Kennedy, who's an experienced road comic. And Jamie Kennedy doesn't find out he's a real vampire till about halfway through this little tour they're doing, when a guy turns into a vampire and just kills a guy and sucks his blood. It's he's complaining. It's kind of, but it's really funny. There's a lot of cool moments. Obviously, it's not Apocalypse Now, but it's a fun humorous movie. And,
Jimmy, I never tried to say it was Apocalypse Now.
You did say that, though. You said it's the greatest film of our generation,
Yeah.
is what you said.
Is it? Yeah. Well, I said
Ronnie,
there was
this is
really
the
cool.
greatest vampire. Go, sorry. That's
Now,
funny.
the next movie you got coming up has Michael Madsen, favorite, Roseanne Arquette, a favorite.
Yeah, Roseanne Arquette, Cowboy Cerrone from the UFC. Hopper Penn, Sean Penn's son, is the lead in this. Yeah, and this is a real indie movie directed by Michael Maxis. This film was just up at Toronto at the film festival up there on the buyer side. CAA's repping this one. I think it's got a good shot. It's a really grimy little movie. It's an indie. It's like Forrest Gump if all this horrible shit happened to him. You know what I mean? It's like a ride through a sewer in a glass bottom boat. You know, it's just a seedy guy falls in love with a crack smoking, heroin addicted hooker that and so he's kind of but great performances. Paz de la Huerta is amazing in it. She's one of the
I love her.
She's been on the festival circuit. I mean, and then some great performances. Kind of a gritty little indie movie. I love it.
All right, Hopper Penn, is his mom Robin Wright?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
That's really fucking cool.
He does a great job, man. He plays kind of like a slow, mentally encumbered, I'll say, fella, and he does it quite well. So it's I've seen bits. I was talking to the director. They just did a kind of re-edit on it and put some new music with it, and so. But that's I'm sure that's headed for theaters soon. I'll keep you posted on that. And the other one was Topper, which is a movie that was just at the Newport Beach Film Festival, which is a kind of a cool little movie with Mark O'Brien and Amanda Clayton, who are both in City on the Hill, which was a great series, and they're terrific actors, and amazing, and it's a really good movie as well.
Yeah, Jimmy's is a big time actor now.
He
You know what I mean? Like
is.
if you were primarily an actor, this would be a great year for you. But he's also headlining.
Yeah, but also headlining comedy clubs. I'm getting ready to go to Keller's Comedy Magic Theater in Erie, Pennsylvania, which is next Friday and Saturday. I'm opening for Steve Trevino at the MGM Grand the 10th through the 13th in the David Copperfield Theater, which is cool. And then I head to St. Charles, which is right outside of St. Louis, to do the Funny Bone down there.
By the way, he's talking about David Copperfield. Jimmy is really, really strong at close-up magic now, which is really, really good. Like I've seen videos that I can't figure out.
Well, it's just one of those things I've been doing since I'm a kid. I started out as a magician, but all your headshots look like that. You're like that, ta-da! I say one day I just hit 18. I retired the rabbit. I set the pigeons free, and I said I'm just going to tell dick jokes from here on out, which is what I did.
Yeah.
No, but I actually am a magician member to Magic Castle, so I do appreciate the art form, and I really like doing it. But
have you watched the Penn and Teller try to figure it out show, whatever it is?
Yeah. I love it. I love how they talk.
So good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's great, and it's what a cool show. I mean, everybody likes magic. I mean, look at Shin Lim. I mean, America's Got Talent. People love magic, and so it's nice to have a show where you can just tune in and see guys do what they do and try to fool two of the best in the business. It's kind of fun. It's a fun little show.
Where do you put David Blaine in this? How high up, or is he for you? Because I think close up, he's unbelievable.
David Blaine's special, man. I think I love his style. He's never in a rush. The guy is it's like the magic is just happening all around him. I'm a huge fan. I mean, how could you not be if you're a magician? It's one of the oldest art forms in the world. I mean, there's hieroglyphics that are chiseled into the sides of the walls of the guys doing the cups and balls. That's how long magic's been around. It's an ancient art form. It's really clever, I'm fascinated by it. I'm like a real magic nerd. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I love just figuring out that the methods are so diabolical. And the thing that blows your mind is that someone actually sat down and thought about this. It was like, wow, it's amazing. It's kind of diabolical. You go, oh, wow, that's interesting. But
then
I love
then tried to do it so many times. Like the focus that you need to pull those things off. Even if you're given the truth.
Yeah, it's like a one-legged duck. There's a lot of paddling going on underneath to make the top seem normal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's paddling away just to try to appear like a normal duck. And then there's a lot of stuff going on underneath the surface.
I got to ask you about this guy, Jimmy, because I tried to get him on the show so many times because I always thought he was just like brilliant. Was Ricky Jay?
He's man, that guy was something special too. I mean, he's unfortunately he passed away, but Ricky Jay was great.
Yeah.
I remember this I remember this comedian. There's a comedian named Alan Bursky. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. Yeah. But he's one of those guys who's been around comedy and magic for a while. He was at a party with Ricky Jay, and Ricky Jay was doing all this knuckle-busting, close-up card magic. And this kid named Alan Bursky pulls out this thing called the invisible deck, which is like a real easy trick to do, but it just blows people's mind. It just blows people's mind. But it's an easy effect to do. So here's Ricky Jay at this party doing all this knuckle busting stuff, and this kid Alan Bursky, who was a younger kid, pulls out this deck and he does the invisible deck, and the whole thing's going, whoa! And Ricky Jay grabbed him and just smacked him down the steps on the way out of the party as he escorted him out, going, whoever tried to do an invisible deck. And I just thought it was funny, and ever since then he's been my hero.
No, was it because it was somebody else's act? Was that the...
No, it wasn't somebody else's act. There's there's some tricks that are easy to do that are like beginners could do them and make them seem like, oh my God, that's amazing. And there's some stuff that takes hours and hours and hours of practice. And that's the kind of stuff Ricky Jay does, which is like, knuckle busting card stuff that's like, it's really, you practice 3 months before you even try to do the trick for the first time. You know what I mean? And then here comes this kid with this stupid easy trick you could buy at the 5 and 10 store. And this guy, Ricky Jay's been busting his ass for 20 years. And so he grabs the kid by the lapels and brought him outside and just smacked him all the way down the steps. And he said, you ever try to do an invisible deck, I'll knock the hell out of you. And I just, after I heard that story, I love the guy even more, if you think comedians are competitive, you should see magicians. They're very
they're nuts, Well, also Ricky Jay was like a expert in the con, right? So he studied con men, and it's weird because that is kind of sleight of hand. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's not like they're telling you the truth. They're lying to you. What the eye sees, the mind believes. What the ear hears, the eye sees. What the eye sees, the mind believes. And so whether that's true or not, that's up to you to believe it. But some of the easiest people to fool are the most intelligent people. Toughest kids to fool are kids because they have a great imagination. They haven't been like had all that fascination or curiosity educated out of them yet. So they're still fascinated and curious by it. So they're the toughest kids. Toughest are the kids. The kid. They go, I know how you did it. Shut up, kid. I'm here working your party.
We're talking with Jimmy Shubert, and he's in a new film, Don't Suck, with Matt Rife, Jamie Kennedy, Russell Peters, and Ellen Homa. It's available on demand on Vudu, Amazon, Apple Movies, but you can also catch it in theaters in L.A., Tampa, Boston, Austin, Dallas, Philly.
It's only in theaters till the December 7th. So people should get out and support this movie. This movie I'm telling you, it was produced by all these small producers with small donations, and they try to, make something kind of fun and cool. And I think they accomplished their mission. So, if people, want to support an independent film that's really good and have some laughs while you're doing it, this is the film to do it. So everything's available on Don'tSuckMovie.com, the website, so people can check it out, see if it's in there.
Jimmy Shubert, thank you so much, buddy. We'll see you next time. Have a great Christmas.
Hey, you too, guys. Thanks a lot. Good talking with you. Bye for now.
Bye, Jimmy.
Love you, kid. Bye. He's, his close-up magic has gotten really, really strong. Mitchell Walters could also do phenomenal close-up magic, and his ability to deal, like he had done shit when he was younger, of being the fucking dealer in a rigged poker game. And, he was telling us his stories. And we were laughing our asses off. And we're like, why aren't you still doing it? And he goes, no, this is how you get killed. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't like the fucking movies where one guy's winning a lot and everybody just falls for it. He goes, people fucking assume the game's rigged all the time. You know what I mean? Even when it's not.
Right.
Sure.
As a kid, though,
in card rooms.
As a kid, like being around Jimmy and Mitchell was like so fun because they always had tricks.
Yeah, they always had tricks going.
So fun. Yeah.
All right. Here's the thing that this has me. This is something that a story that makes me think I'll listen maybe to my first true crime podcast. Right. So this woman. Young woman, I guess. She's her dad's dying, right? And when her dad is really far away along in his disease, he calls her in and he goes, look, I got to tell you this. I've been wanted by the FBI for 40 years. Oh. I robbed a bank back in Cleveland when I was a young man, and they've been looking for me ever since. The name that I gave you, that's not my real name. Your last name is made up. And she goes, what happened? He goes, well, I got a job as a vault manager. And one Friday, I went in there in 1969 and took $215,000 out in a bag. And I had 2 days before anybody was even going to discover it. So I was far out of town, Holy shit. And he had even been on, like, America's Most Wanted, which would have been, probably somewhere about 20 years after he had done it. 1969, that $215,000 is probably about $1 million today,
Right.
People were making like $30,000 a year in those days or whatever. Right. So it never was caught. She said, I got to tell mommy, this is wrong that you've never told her. And she goes, thinking about it, he always kept a beard. He always wore a baseball hat wherever he went. We had planned a trip to France. He goes, I don't like traveling overseas. I'm not going because, he didn't have a fucking passport or anything. Right. And about, a year later, the feds show up and they had figured it out from the death notice because he had used the same birth date, blah, 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 that type of thing. But she's doing this podcast where she even goes back to talk to people from his youth.
Oh, my God. I want to listen to this.
I know. It's crazy, right? But see, this to me is so much better. It's like he didn't fucking kill a man and go on the run, right. Or he didn't rob a bank with a gun. You know what I mean? It's basically... Right. He just took what was in the vault and split.
I agree. This is a true crime podcast I could listen to because it doesn't just involve a man hacking up a woman and children or something. Just like this is going to disturb me to no end.
And the other thing that I think is kind of interesting is like we all leave our identity when we were young. You know what I mean? You're not the same person. You because if your kids saw you at age 18 or 19 and saw the way you acted, you'd probably be humiliated. You're walking around town in a fucking Van Halen shirt and you're selling fucking nickel bags.
I mean, don't you think it's weird when you think about how... I don't know the exact lifespan of it. It's like maybe it's like 7 years or something, but it's like the amount of time that your cells just like fully die off and regenerate. Like you literally are a different person than when.
And yet, why do you keep the memory of those other cells?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You think somebody would say, "I saw you 7 years ago," and you'd be like, "What?
Who are you?"
Huh? Of course, their cells would have, so they wouldn't really recognize you. Get that, would you please?
Could you answer that?
I'm expecting a call.
Chris just goes, Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ. And I was trying to get Safa Holiday going.
Oh, man.
I want to know about it.
Why you say, oh, man?
Oh, man. Pop
That's
up.
What, anytime I'll say, oh, man, she'll go like this. Why did Pop-Up say, oh, man?
It's that
Dude,
time
I got some, you know how your camera fucking comes back and plays stuff for you after like, and I got like the year in review and watch Frankie like get so much older over the course of this one AI film that they put together for me.
Isn't that weird? And you're just like this little like sentient being is just like watching my life play out. And they're like, you know what's going to make her cry today? Just a nice song and a series of photos.
Did you cry when you were watching this stuff?
Oh, my God, yes, I did. Yes.
Were you surprised how many times she would try to show me how far she could stretch her leg out?
Yeah, she was. That's recurring through your year.
And now she does full splits. Nobody's even teaching her.
I know.
Whoa.
She does.
She can also just be like sitting on the floor and just stand right up without using her hands.
It took me a while to figure out how hard that was, because I was like, wait, it's not just that it's like it's not like she's pushing off her own leg. She's not pushing off the floor. It's like she's sitting and then suddenly standing. I don't even I've tried to recreate it, and it's not physically possible for me.
She can lift herself off the floor using only her ankles.
It's so crazy.
That's impossible.
Not when you have legs that short. That's the helpful thing.
It's that time of year again, a time for joy, a time for happiness, a time when panic starts to set in over not knowing what to get your loved ones for the holidays.
It's enough to keep you up at night, tossing and turning, trying to figure out what to get that someone special that says, here's someone special. Well, all that tossing and turning may be, in fact, a clue. Get them something that can help them sleep better.
Look no further than the Sattva Holiday Gift Guide, where you'll find loads of great gifts. Everything from luxurious linens, elegant pillows, weighted blankets, silk eye masks, even luxury dog beds. Just be sure you have your order in by December 15th to ensure delivery by Christmas.
And there you have it. Now go get some sleep. You've got this gift-giving thing all figured out. Visit sattva.com/gifts now. That's SAATVA.com/gifts. Somebody sent me this, which I thought was kind of fun. They said, what is the Roman Empire of hip-hop? And I thought what was funny about that is now the Roman Empire has, become that thing.
It's the thing.
You know? Yeah.
It's like now everyone says that's my Roman Empire, or like, oh,
Right.
His Roman Empire is that. Now it's just accepted term. It's accepted now.
So they picked, I believe, the 1995 Hip Hop Source Awards show. I think that's the one where shit really started going bad,
Right.
But I was thinking you guys are real classic rockers, and we should start with Earl Douglas on this. And let's see if we believe Earl when he says his Roman Empire of rock.
I'm going to say Altamont.
Really? The saddest day in the history of rock. So what are you thinking about Altamont all the time for?
Because that was kind of the culmination of all the things that people thought rock was. There was always this perception it was always dark and heavy and this and that. And then it actually happens where someone gets murdered.
But here's the thing. It's only a couple of months after Woodstock. It's not that long after Woodstock, which was probably the biggest moment of all time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's when it all kind of comes. That whole Woodstock ideal just comes completely crashing down.
Absolutely not. Because if you think about it, the Woodstock idea is what carried the entire 70s. Like, if you would have told me it ended festivals because of what happened at Altamont, I would disagree 1,000,000%. It was still the beginning of festivals. It was the beginning also of you have to be big. You have to be big to be successful. Yeah. I mean, I think Altamont was a really low point, but why would you think about it a lot? Why would that be your Roman Empire?
I mean, because there was so much other things attached to it. Like, what's the name? I think Marty Ballin got punched out, and the Hells Angels are running amok, and there's all of these other things that, I think the Grateful Dead went like, hey, we're not going to even show. They showed up, they found out that somebody got punched out, they got right back on the helicopter and left. They just went.
Yeah, but why would that keep you thinking about it? Like, I feel like you could get that one in one moment. What about for you?
I think the Roman Empire of rock and roll is the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, because I think that that's like a before and after. It's the inspiration that started so many bands. It's like this almost like global understanding of youth culture begins then. It becomes like a generational divide of like the long-haired kids and the, it's just, I think that's got to be the Roman Empire.
The funny thing about it is, right, that did start like these fucking kids, which people still do now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were appalled by the Beatles' hair. But look at what their hair looked like on Ed Sullivan, right? And then look what it became within the next 5 years. So
I know.
Eventually they were going to be right that this long hair is insane. But it wasn't true that night. They were wearing suits. They're literally wearing suits.
And they were like shocked at hair that was just maybe just a few inches longer than what you'd normally see. 2 to 3.
What about for you, Chris?
The CBGB scene in New York City in the 70s with all those great punk bands and Talking Heads and Blondie and just that scene that begat all these great bands.
Now, here's the thing. You could have said that about a ton of places. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's been a ton of scenes. Why that one? Because you're from New York, or is this your favorite stuff?
It's my favorite stuff. And then, also, like, sure, it was in these scenes happen in other places, but I feel like it coming from New York and me being from New York, and it went out to the world, and all these bands just blew the fuck up.
Yeah, but that happens in every scene. Like, that happened in Seattle in the 90s. It happened, obviously, in London in the 60s. I mean, Gail and I did an entire thing for the Deep Tracks thing on this. But it is always interesting when that happens. And there was a scene going on in New York when you were the right age and you missed it completely.
Yeah, absolutely.
True.
I wasn't in any of that.
But why? Why did you miss it? And now I know you would have walked right past CBGB's. Look at those weirdos.
Ew.
I hear the bathroom's really gross.
Earl told me that his Roman Empire of Rock is actually a soy bomb when that guy wrote soy bomb on his chest.
I forgot that guy. That's who was he with? Was that a Bob Dylan show or something weird?
It was Bob Dylan was up at maybe the MTV Music Awards.
It was the Grammys.
Yeah.
Oh, the Grammys. All right.
They tried to make the MTV Music Awards the Grammys. The fact that they still give them up and people still show up even though they don't play videos anymore.
Nope. And haven't for now. We're at the point where like you can't even talk about it because they haven't played for 20 years. They haven't played.
Yeah, you can't bitch about it anymore.
No, it just is.
And they're like, I liked MTV when they. I go, you'd already stopped watching MTV because you didn't care about videos anymore.
Long time.
But what was VH1 was the funny one because they were playing, like they were like the MTV for older people.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
We see that kids like music videos. Maybe people slightly older also like music videos.
And we'll do pop-up video. That's fun.
And like you say, all those huge bands that came out of there, but I don't know if any of those bands were huge in the traditional sense. Like, I mean, I'm going to guess Blondie and Talking Heads were the two biggest, but only Blondie probably had #1 songs.
Yeah. It was more like an underground cool explosion.
Right. But it always stayed underground.
Right.
And then people like Television and all, they didn't really break out.
That's a really good point. And the Ramones didn't really blow up in real time.
No.
No, not in
The
real time.
Ramones only did tours in a van. They didn't even make it to bus.
All right, this wasn't a Roman Empire. This was...
Have you ever seen that thing? I don't know what it's called, but they do rock songs like they were, I don't know, kind of standards. Like they do rock songs as if Wayne Newton. It's something like Modern Jukebox or something.
I know
is the name of them. And they go like, Black Hole Sun, won't you come? You know what I'm talking about now?
Yeah,
yes.
I walked past the theater that they were at, and they had 2 giant buses and trailers. And I'm like, and none of them are famous. You know, just the concept is. And the Ramones never got that. The Ramones were still in a station wagon at the end of their lives.
And Modern Jukebox is out here killing it.
It's postmodern jukebox. That's the
postmodern jukebox. Thank you. Earl, why didn't you pick Motown?
I mean,
that was a hell of a situation.
Yeah, Motown was even crazier because all of those guys
crazier than Altamont.
Yeah, I mean, crazier in the sense that all of those people that came through the Motown factory, they all basically came from the same neighborhood. They were all in the same.
Yeah, a lot of them did. A lot of the singers were just the black, which also goes to show you, right, that you're better off if you're born close to something. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, people don't realize how many fucking big comedians are from North Jersey or Long Island, and then they could make their way into the city, and people would be like, oh, they're great. But if you were born in the city, they're like, that fucking accent is obnoxious. No one knows what he's talking about.
Right. What about...
I'm really talking more in the mass appeal days than I'm talking now.
What about Sun Studios? Is that a Roman Empire, or is that more like people who go deep and care about?
Well, I literally was going to go that, and I was even thinking I would have picked almost even Sun Studios for country. You know what I mean? Because those guys, the difference between country and rock, like Johnny Cash was part of that scene. So the real difference, like Jerry Lee Lewis ended up being country at a certain point. Elvis certainly went back and forth with country, but those four jugheads sitting in there together, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Sun was a country and blues label. Like B.B. King recorded for Sun, Howlin' Wolf recorded for Sun. All of those, a lot of it was like Jack Clement.
Well, yeah, anybody who could get in and record could record there. You know what I mean? Like, could people play fucking music? Now, of course, they say, all right, there's no more gatekeepers. You just upload your song and people catch on. But so many people upload songs now that how the fuck are you supposed to find them?
Exactly.
Right.
And people are like, there's still good rock if you just look for it. I'm not going to.
It's impossible to find.
I don't want to sit around up to my asshole in fucking cold river water, reaching down with a pan, trying to catch a little couple specks of gold.
I found this woman on TikTok who does this series called New Bands for Old Heads. So she's kind of like older millennial, maybe young Gen X, right? And so she has curated music that's coming out now, newer bands, new records, that she's like, don't fall out of favor, but I'm going to make it easy for you, and I'm going to give recommendations. And I'm obsessed with her now. I'm going to send her to you. But it's like, if you liked these bands from your youth, you're going to be into this. And it's like palatable for you. It's not completely difficult. You're not going like, what is this noise? It's going to sound somewhat familiar, but it's still fresh and new. So I'm going to send her to you. New bands for old heads.
Now, here's the thing that's funny about that. People also get upset when a band sounds too much like Led Zeppelin or Aerosmith. You know?
Yeah.
You're like, can't these kids think of anything new? And then when they do, you fucking hate it.
Find your own sound that I also like and is not too familiar to me.
Like I literally picked one band that she played like a song from, Bug Club, the Bug Club. And she recommended this song, Marriage, from like their new album that just came out this year. And I was like, immediately like, oh yeah, she gets it. Like, yes, this is obviously familiar to me. It's not too out there, but it's a new band. I'm like, yeah, I'm listening to Bug Club.
You're a bughead.
Yeah.
I actually caught some kids the other day that I thought were really good, and their album's going to drop in like next year. And I'm like, yeah, I'll probably forget about you by then, but thanks. Earl, why didn't you start something like that?
I know. I was actually
You're too busy collecting paintings. What the fuck is
do you
your
know about
deal,
Bug
dude?
Club, Earl? Why wouldn't you tell me? Because obviously that's right up my alley.
I didn't know about that band, but it's harder to.
Harder to what?
Not for her. She's doing it.
I mean, it's harder to kind of to find that right sweet spot to like find really good music and.
Do you think it ever was easy for the fucking people out there looking for it? You know,
but
driving around in their camper trying to find the Oneaters, seeing if there's something there.
Earl just wants to do old music for old heads.
That is exactly. And she said you don't want to be that.
This is music that people missed 40 years ago. That's his thing.
It really is.
And it wasn't big then,
right.
but
Yeah.
it's not going to be big now.
Gary in New Jersey. Gary.
Hey, Matty B.
Hey.
I think I smoked some bad shit, man. I'm all fucked up right now, bro.
All right. Well, you know, water. A lot of water will do it for you.
Stay
Maybe a
hydrated.
nap.
Thanks. Stay hydrated. Thanks.
I feel like
I'm
he was
at the
going to say
point.
something sexual about Chris.
Here's the deal. Now, if somebody's dead, I'm just going to let him go.
Go to the light.
I have
Go to the light.
Narcan, but
Go to the dull light that's going.
go to the ring light in the sky.
The Narcan thing is weird because when you know, like, hey, I better keep some Narcan on me the way that I do drugs, you know? You know it's not just like an easy thing anymore like it used to be.
Maybe, like, if you just want to be a hero, you should just keep it on you at any point because you could find that moment and then
Do you
you'll
know
be
how
ready
many-
to go.
yeah. You know how many friends that I had OD'd and died? 0. And you know what we used to do every night? Drugs.
What?
We did drugs every night, and nobody died.
0.
You know
Zero
why?
Fatality rate. Why?
We stayed awake. That's the fucking important thing there.
Don't
It's
sleep.
good advice.
I got so many friends taking these microdose gummies of mushrooms,
Yeah.
and they're talking about clarity. Help me here. Does these things work?
I don't know. I mean, I steer clear of the mushroom microdoses because I ate a lot of mushrooms for a long time, and then I just had nothing but bad trips. So I want nothing to do with it.
But you were
Yeah, but the
microdosing.
microdoses, you're not supposed to trip.
Yeah, right?
You're
You're not-
supposed to just feel better.
You're just supposed to feel good. And Ron, yeah, I know. I've heard people talking about microdosing all the time. I know a guy who started a microdosing company and it failed. Like it's. I've never done it.
Well,
I
that
don't.
doesn't
I don't
mean
trust
that.
it.
You don't know anybody who's done anything but failed. Chris from Brooklyn was a great fucking chef, and he wrote 15 minutes of good material and left.
Where is it?
Peace out.
You were 20 years into the goddamn food business. We were all excited about it.
Okay, so I wanted to bring this up with you guys.
Yeah.
Have you heard of a social media influencer named Aitana Lopez?
I have not.
Okay. Here's the deal. It is an AI social media influencer. Now, that doesn't seem like so weird with the amount of AI stuff that's going on. But this isn't just like, oh, an account that, you know, they're posting pictures of an AI generated face. This is like the person who created her is making a lot of money in the same way that social media influencers does.
Okay.
So it's AI, which is funny. Obviously, that's a joke. Aitana Lopez, Chris.
Okay.
So here she is.
All right, first of
You
all,
say wow, but she's not real. Wow.
but I agree with Chris, where if I saw this, I probably wouldn't think fake.
No, that does not
This
look fake.
is the best AI, like digital. A lot of times when stuff gets generated, it looks like
Yeah.
shit. This looks like.
I know you're saying that, Chris, but you know how like Instagram will give you stuff that you're not following all the time now?
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of beautiful women that are AI.
This is freaked out.
So on Lopez's Instagram, like, you know, get sponsors, like making money off of it. The creator, this is what got me. This is what's so crazy. First of all, the creator is a man. So it's a man who generates these images, is
Catfish.
creating this thing, and is like the voice of this character, essentially.
Okay.
He was like a social media manager or like agent who was tired of dealing with the big egos. So he's like, let me create a fake broad. I take all the money. And guess what? She never says no. She's posing for everything. If you go to the Instagram, she's barely dressed. And then I did check the links, and there are spicy links as well. And I don't even know what that means. Like, I mean, I know what it means, but like what? It can't be video of her doing anything. So it's just going to be like, you can
Naked
see the
pictures,
full image.
AI generate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
look, that one
now
alone, she has 19,000 likes on.
Yeah.
All right, now Earl just wrote to me, Davy Lopes is not AI. How would he have been able to play second base? It's not Davy Lopes.
And like the weird thing is, some of the image, like you could see that it's supposed to be appealing to the guys and the gals. Like some of them are almost like fitness pics, and like even that picture of her with the sweater, like sitting by like the plant, is very like, oh, like a girl would be like, oh, she's so pretty. What a cool style. What a cool vibe.
All right.
It isn't real.
She's not
They
real.
are getting so fucking good at everything, right? So I'm just swiping through just the regular TikTok thing. And I see Joe Rogan, and like he's saying something, and then he goes, and how come the U.S. government isn't talking about this? They have found Noah's Ark. And he's got all these pictures of Noah's Ark. And I'm just so, I got a football game on and I'm going. And I'm like, has Rogan gone off the deep end and he thinks somebody found Noah's Ark? So, I swipe it back to the beginning, and obviously it's the AI fucking voice, right? And then it just goes into pictures. But at first, like when you see him in front of a microphone, and it only lasts like a sentence or so, but the entire time it's talking, it's Joe Rogan, although it's not. Now, here's the other thing. Do you know one human being that can do a Joe Rogan impression? I mean, he doesn't have the kind of voice that people could pick up and do an impression of. Yet, AI
so weird
nailed it right down that he's pretty deep into talking about Noah's Ark being found and, mass media and the government trying to keep it away from us.
You're like, he has lost his mind.
I go, Jesus. Pretty sure we could quickly find out this isn't Noah's Ark.
So, like, they've gotten pictures down, they've gotten voice down, and now the new like push in AI, and it's going very fast, is like typing in a prompt to AI generate a video scene, and you can like say like zoom into X person's face, etc. That's like the next thing that everyone's talking about with AI, just full video recreation, just from text.
All right. Now let me ask you, Earl. You're a believer of both testaments of the Bible?
Yes.
Do you believe that there was a Noah's Ark?
I believe there was a Noah's Ark, yes.
And do you think that a Noah's Ark could be found somewhere today?
I mean, the remains of it, highly doubtful. It'd be because
Why?
But just from the structure and the passages of time, and it would just
they
be
find wooden
Yeah, they
things
find-
that are as
yeah.
old as what you're talking about.
I would just find it highly unlikely that it would.
And you, well, highly unlikely. We're talking about the ship that held 2 of every animal, you mean?
Yes.
Do you think that it physically existed, and you think it physically did what the Bible said it did? You think it had 2 of every animal?
But do you think you'd at least find the anchor?
No, I don't think we even find the anchor. I mean, I just think
Because it wasn't real.
Right.
I mean, I would say if I believed in it, I would be like, yes, it could be found. We have things that have been found much older than when this was supposed to take place.
What really bothers me about Noah's Ark, and there's a lot of things that bother me, but it's the fact that a good portion of those animals that would be on are carnivores. So what were they eating on the ark? Then you'd have to have more, right? Like you would have
There
to
were
have
a
more
lot
things.
more.
You're going to need more gazelle, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Like
A lot-
because
they
some of
started
them's
out
gonna be
with
food.
400 gazelle. That's right in the Bible.
Right. So like, that part doesn't make sense.
Can I tell you something? And this is in the Bible. Don't eat where you shit.
They're going to be
And
doing a
They
lot of
got that from the ark.
And also, like, if you're only taking 2 of each animal, one male, female, you're really taking a risk as far as any disease or sickness that's spreading among these animals. Like, one male or one female dies of the group, like, it's over. It's done with.
Yeah, but that happened with the unicorn. The
Right,
unicorn
that's the
is
only one
gone,
who
the
effed off.
mermaid, so many things. Earl, did they
Dragon.
put 2 of each fish in there?
I could. I mean, if you're doing 2 of every animal, you have to include fish, I guess.
But wouldn't the fish still just be in the ocean that was
fine.
there? I would have think like if someone said, "I'm getting the fish," if I'm knowing, I go, "What are you fucking doing, you idiot? You honestly think we're going to run out of fish because of a storm? We're going to get more fish."
What's the bird situation look like?
Oh, good call.
You got to have a lot of birds, but hey.
No, I know. It's
But
gonna
hey, what do
be-
you mean by
but hey, like but just the bird weight alone on this boat is going to be insane. So it's 1 of every bird, and
Yeah.
again, some of those birds eat birds. So what are they going to eat? Most of those birds eat bugs. We got every bug on there too.
No, we couldn't have 2 of every bug on there. I mean, they're gonna fuck, and they're gonna over those 40 days, it's gonna be overrun with bugs.
But how the bugs aren't going to survive without being in there, bro?
You're right.
The bugs
There's
would
no
not
land.
survive.
There's no
There's
land.
no land.
The whole earth is flooded.
Maybe you think that all the bugs are new, just a couple thousand years old. All right, somebody wrote to us that Caliendo does a great Rogan impression. I'm not surprised. I'm just saying this isn't like Christopher Guest.
Right.
You know, this isn't an impression that somebody has nailed so much that they've unlocked the key. You know what's really weird? After all the Trump impressions, Shane Gillis does one of the best ever.
It's really good.
Really good.
Really, really good.
And he didn't
I
come
agree.
into the game as an impressionist. Like, when he came to New York, he wasn't doing a Donald Trump impression. That'd be the time when you got, not enough time, but a good impression in your pocket.
I signed up to that AI Girls spicy link, and it's $7. Would you like to see some of the spicy pictures?
Yeah.
Sure. It's not a real person, so feel okay with it.
She's pretty hot, though. I mean, there's.
Oh, my God.
I like, you know what I think is cool? If you look closely, like the imperfections on the
Yes.
butt, like you see some stretch marks, you see like some scar here, like.
I think that's a real ass then.
I really feel like it's a real ass. A lot of it's just lingerie. Oh, here's a close up of the vagina.
We don't
But
have to
it's-
get any closer, Chris. I mean, it's already a close up, and he starts zooming in.
That
You
looks
paid
like a real-
$7 for this?
$7.
A fucking
I might
a
expensive.
drawing wearing fucking panties.
Oh, there's full nipple. That looks
No.
kind of fake.
I don't feel like, the nipple it wasn't able to pull off as well as some of the other body parts. There's something that looks fake.
Also, I noticed they're hiding the fingers.
Yeah,
Oh,
they can't.
you're right.
They really struggle.
The nipples are terrible.
The nipples do
The
not.
nipples are the
you know
worst
what?
thing they do.
It doesn't look 3-dimensional. It looks like a flat painted nipple.
This is the worst $7 I've ever spent. I'm disgusted with myself. I simped to a fucking AI. This is what happens. This
And
is
you
what happens.
gave that dude money. You just handed that dude $7. The dude who I was just like, isn't this shitty?
But the funny thing was, he wasn't like, "Hey guys, you think I should buy this?" You know, he
didn't.
just gets
If you would
it.
have asked me, I would have went, that's silly. Don't do that.
I'm gonna put this in the old spank bank.
Now I saw Jim Norton's Instagram. He went to the Last Kiss concert, and he said his wife ruined it for him. And I'll be honest, I don't know if it's a bit that they're doing, or whether she really hated being at the Last Kiss show, but she was asking to leave. Now, this kind of ties into the AI. Kiss is done touring. They've done their last show, but they're putting out that Avatar show where it's just them dancing around on stage, but looking more like 1976 and playing their album cuts and singing along. They're doing an ABBA tour like this, and they're raking in fucking cash.
Holy shit, really?
This is something that just the Japanese used to do a couple years ago, or the Koreans, and we used to laugh at them.
Yeah, and like the hologram things, they were just like tubes on stage, and it's like, it was like a 3D rendering of whatever artist it was. At least
That's
in
what
Japan.
this is. Yeah, put up the ABBA one if you can.
Yeah,
see
I want to
it.
see it.
But people are of course reacting poorly to this. But I'm like, is it worse than a tribute band?
That's true.
And we watch movies.
Right.
I
We don't
mean,
say it killed
everything is
Peter.
just so shitty now. I don't care what anyone does anymore.
Yeah.
I found the ABBA. ABBA Voyage is what it's called.
Okay. It's not like I'm going to look it up later. Now look at the place is packed. And there they are. Look how amazed the people are. They
Wow.
probably have sound of some kind with it.
Yeah, I would like
Look at the people are enjoying
I was
themselves.
just going to say, this is a good commercial because this actually looks fun. Like, they look like they're having fun.
Here's what I'm going to do. I mean, I'm not going to go to one of these stores, but I will send my avatar along so that my avatar will be jumping and dancing while I'm at home, trying to get a blood transfusion of some kind.
I feel like Aitana Lopez would love that show.
Biggest
I want to
fan.
go with Jim Norton's wife, and hopefully she'll be respectful of my wishes. But, that thing, a lot of people got mad there. Like, she should fake her way through, And I'm like, does make for a good marriage.
Does.
Like, I remember faking so many things. Like, I was happy with new purchases, or when I acted like I was happy when my kids were born.
Hey.
And then my grandkids.
Wait, this is getting worse and worse.
I faked that I had love in my heart to give. Chris, how much do you feel like you're faking in your relationship? Be honest. I was just honest.
I'm going to say 60%.
60% is faked. What about for you, Gail?
Like 15%.
15.
Oh,
what,
the best.
What do you fake? Sixers?
Yeah, like if you go along with knowing that somebody wants to do something, for the most part, me and my husband are on the same page. Like, we like to do the same types of things. We enjoy the same stuff, so it doesn't come up a lot. But yeah, if there's something that he wants to do more, especially I think, when it really comes into play is like hanging out with each other's friends or social engagements that you have to do with other people's friends, where you're like, maybe that person is like not thrilled that they have to do it, but you're going to go along with it. You're going to make it easier for them by kind of faking your way through it. So I'll give it 15. I'm a lot better than Chris, not 60. Oh my God. It's not a sham marriage.
Come on, Gail.
I mean, I think it just shows that he loves more by faking more. I think
Thank
a
you,
lot
Ron.
of times you go, oh my God, you're not watching that again, are you? No one cares about Manhunter. Stop acting like it's a good show. No, I pleasantly watched Gilded Age, and then I went like this. She's going to lose her box seats?
And she has been the face of the new opera house, so that will be horrible if that's true. That husband of hers better pull some strings. Seems like he's on his way to do it.
I know I got 90...
this Gilded Age thing is so weird to me because when I was in Pittsburgh, right, this beautiful theater had been built and given to the city of Pittsburgh to make people forget that this guy had people killed on the picket line.
Right.
This was like, hey, I'm giving something back
Right.
to the city.
Right.
And he has a hall in New York called the Carnegie Hall to this day. So it was Andrew Carnegie who had the Pinkertons kill people that were on the thing. And then he goes, yeah, but I'm also building you guys a beautiful theater and some place that kids can go.
Yay.
Did you happen to know the history of the Brooklyn Bridge, the engineer storyline?
I did not. That it
Me
was actually
either.
a woman who designed and built the Brooklyn Bridge.
She was essentially the chief engineer because her husband started the project, then fell very ill and no longer could do it. And
Mentally
then she stepped in and took over. And the Brooklyn Bridge happened because of this woman. So I'm watching this story and I'm going, wait, I mean, I feel like, is this based on a true story that this woman did this? And I had to look it up and it's 100% true.
But look this part up. How do you just put those rocks together like that to make it? Like the Brooklyn Bridge is the craziest bridge to me. The craziest.
I know.
Because it
That's
looks
such a
like
good-
it was made by ancient Egyptians or something.
It really does.
Also, you're just like, did you guys, like, what kind of updates have you guys done now that it's all cars and trucks on there?
I know.
It's insane.
I had a friend who said he would never take the Brooklyn Bridge. He lived in Brooklyn his whole life. He said, I'll never drive over it. It's the Manhattan Bridge or nothing for me.
What an ugly bridge. The Manhattan Bridge.
The Manhattan Bridge?
Do nothing
Yeah.
bridge.
Yeah, it is. But they say it's the #1 bridge to jump off of.
Is
I got
it?
that
More
from-
than Brooklyn?
I got that from Lonely Guy. That was in a movie.
I mean,
They said
walk
it's where
across that
single lonely guys go to jump. Earl, if you're going to jump off a bridge and kill yourself, which bridge?
59th Street Bridge.
Why? Closest to your house?
Feeling groovy? Is that why?
Lazy.
Because it's mainly because it's I think it's a higher jump. I believe it's a higher jump, and then you just if you even if
Then the George Washington?
No, George Washington.
Then the
view would be
Verrazano?
No
Yeah.
way.
George Washington. Verrazano gives me too much of a sense of doom and dread. I feel really ill sometimes just thinking about the Verrazano. It's a little creepy. I would definitely choose George Washington.
I was on a traffic jam that had me stop on top of the Verrazano Bridge. Just
God.
sitting up there. Well,
It's the highest bridge, by the way. I looked it up.
I know.
I was going
know
like
it is.
this. Let's just move a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind going slow. I just don't want to sit still up here.
I can't explain that when I look like off the side of the Verrazano, the way the water looks, like the darkness of the water, it just hits my stomach.
You don't
So
like
I
that
feel-
you can see
I
Coney
feel-
Island from there?
I do like it, and I would like to see it one last time, I suppose. But it's just too depressing. I'm going George Washington. I'll feel much more upbeat, I think, when I go down.
What about the Tappan Zee? I mean, you have to travel a little bit, but it seems like
It's
it's
not
high
the
enough?
Tappan Zee anymore, my friend.
No,
right.
but you know what? I'll never not call.
You're going
it
to jump
Tappan.
off the Cuomo.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, now like people will report it that way too. Like they're not going to say Tappan Zee. Like you might call it that, but they're going to be like this Cuomo lover.
Here's one that's
He wanted to be with Cuomo.
Cuomo sexual. Jump.
the last homosexual.
I forgot that term. I honestly
Good God.
I wanted to forget it so bad.
Every self-identified Cuomo-sexual should be embarrassed.
One of them was Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, yeah.
He called himself one.
And you know, like my love for Jake Gyllenhaal, I've never been back since. It was too much of a cringe for me.
Thank you.
It was so uncomfortable that like I really haven't been able to.
I'm like that.
masturbate.
With,
No, just kidding. I haven't
I'm
been
like
able
that with Rudy Giuliani since his fucking hair melted. I'm like, I can't. He ain't the America's mayor anymore. So later on this week, we've got Netflix missing. What is the movie we're going to be playing?
The movie is California Christmas. It's our first time doing a sequel, so it's California Christmas City Lights, I believe. So this is California Christmas 2, our very first sequel we've done on Netflix.
And that's going to be on Thursday. Make sure you watch it by then. And then also, we got Hummus with Shane Gillis. That's really, really fun. It was really fun. It was really celebrating. It was only a couple years ago that they cut off his legs with that.